the name all-in-one fluid farm, bed farm, seeds farm, house, designed by DzisMozeTrafie? Yeah, I can't pronounce that. Hello and welcome to 2 Indoor Gaming, and I'm here with another blueprint review. This time it's an item from the Steam Workshop, which just means that a player has made this build and uploaded it for us to enjoy. And it is a great little home base blueprint. It's got everything you need, especially if you're on somebody else's server. You want to keep your footprint small, you don't want to take up too much room, it'd be rude. This is a great home because it utilizes underground to keep your farm, your fluid farm and your workshop, and you've got everything covered to get your base materials, the ones you don't mine at least, to keep going for making bigger builds, contributing to something communal or being creative in your own space. So let's have a look at the blueprint straight up. Here it is, the all-in-one fluid farm, pet farm, seeds farm and house, so very descriptive title. And you can see it here, it looks good. You've got a space for your pets, you've got a wax farm, a nice healing fountain, home base with a bed in it for you can heal as well or just rest the night away. And there underground you're seeing your space for your seed farm and your fluid farm and a little workshop, and it's all in here, and we'll investigate that in more detail soon. The blocks are very basic except for 2 items. Nothing comes from the store, so everything's obtainable with a free account, paying no money whatsoever, except for 2 items, and that they form the chimney, and they're from the industrial set. You see here the industrial smokestack, the industrial chimney, so you can replace those out if you don't have access to them at all. Create a different kind of looking chimney or remove it altogether, though you lose a little bit of the theme with that. Very customizable because it's not a premium pack. It doesn't have a look that needs to stay in keeping with it, unlike the castle which I showed you last time. So you can customize this to suit your own preferences. If you don't like the corrupted stone juxtaposed with the diamond roof and diamond glass, then you can change that color scheme up and play around with it. I really like the color scheme, I really like the build as it is, but you can go crazy with it. You'll need to be able to get to the corruption and collect corrupted water, so that means you're pretty much going to have to get through all of your play in building your character, because you're going to need a lumite mining cell to collect up that corrupted water. So you can build most of this without getting to that point, and you can finish that off later. You can certainly do all of the farming area and the workshop, just leave out the corrupted water. You will still need to go wandering and looking for bog water and tar, and that can be difficult sometimes, but a little bit of exploring doesn't do any harm. 2 of the items on here, the hardened lava and the ice, I think are related to where the build was originally constructed. It must have been in a cold zone, because the hardened lava is there to keep the water have it not freeze over. That seems to be its only function, because there's plenty of other lighting. It's not there for lighting effects. I think it's just there to keep the water wet. And the ice is actually in a part of the build that's been walled off, so I think that was when they were trying to get the water first harvestable, and it kept freezing over, and that's now had to change their plans. So that's just a little holdover from the design process. So feel free to swap the ice out. It seems to have no functional benefit whatsoever, just so you don't have to go searching for it if you don't want to. Everything else quite simple, so very accessible blueprint in that regard. So let's have a closer look. I'll get down off my leaf pole here, and then I'll get rid of the HUD so it's cleaner vision for you. You don't need to see my inventory. The only thing I've added to the build is just this stairway entrance, because I've got a raised compound. I didn't keep it flush with the plane, so I just kept that in keeping with the theme, just to make it go through. And I've got good attribution here. The name all-in-one fluid farm, bed farm, seeds farm, house, designed by DzisMozeTrafie. Yeah, I can't pronounce that. The player, their profile says they're from Poland. I don't know if that's something meaningful to the Polish or not, but yeah, I won't try and pronounce it again. Nice looking outer fence that isn't mob proof. Mobs can get into this compound. If you want a mob proof compound, then you'll have to do some extra work to it, but it looks really good. Stone fencing, because it's got the iron bands, then when you put the iron bars, it gives a nice cohesive look. Very good. There's your little pet compound to put your pigsies in so you can harvest their poop for your farm. So that looks good. I will say this wax farm, as per blueprint, is not functional. Because it's asking you to put beeswax here on top of the wood, and it actually requires queen bees to make it grow wax. So put it in there to satisfy the blueprint, but switch it out later, or just switch it in when it's time to customize your blueprint. Very nice house. Great use of the little tri-peak function, just crisping up the outlines, recesses, and so it's good. It's not a boring design. Comes together nicely. The little floating fountain here as well, good for healing. Not a fan of hiding the lights. A big fan of recessed lighting, just not the hiding with the grass, because it doesn't really work, and so it just looks. I'd incorporate the lamps into the design another way, somehow. It just, yeah, but that's just me. Alright, good use stone fence for posts. We've got a pressure plate here for the door. That just means it's going to trigger when the door opens and closes, give you a bit of that swinging effect. Nothing too major to worry about. Good look inside. Love the fireplace. If you don't have the medieval fire pit access to that recipe, then this is a great option. It looks really good, and when you combine it with the chimney outside and the smoke effects, perfect. Nice ceiling. I think this hole over here is just they missed putting another lamp in there. I don't think that ceiling space is designed to be functional at all. It's not really big enough. There's nothing in there, and you'd need to add blocks to get in. So I'll just say that's an oversight. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. Just one chest, because there's more storage downstairs. Double bed, sorted. Over here you'll find a number pad, and down here is a block phaser. I'm assuming that they were supposed to be linked, but without a number gate. Not very useful. I think they were trying to design an elevator to get downstairs and back up, which is a great idea, because if there's one thing this blueprint lacks, it's direct access from the compound to the farming area downstairs. So I'd be adding, if you can get the elevator work, then it's all good. I'd probably be adding a trapdoor and a ladder, or a spiral staircase or something just in the corner over here, so I could get down into the farming area. So let's go and have a look at that farming area. Woo, big jump. Of course, that's where you need to put your block, because it's at the bottom and in the front center, so if you're going to recess it into a hill like me, you'll have to dig down. When it comes to building it, one person build, easily done. Not too taxing time wise. Obviously you're going to need to be able to play through the corruption and whatnot, but otherwise very simple to put together. I would recommend doing the basement level first, especially when you're putting in the liquids. It's just easier putting them at the top. I'll show you what I mean in just a moment. You could definitely spruce up a tunnel if you're doing it like me into the middle of a hill, or you could have an exposed cliff. Once again, all for good preference. This space I'd probably extend out and make storage, because I need lots. I'm a pack rat. I want to keep everything, and they've only got 3 chests in here, and I need a lot more than that. That's good for keeping your materials for processing and whatnot, but not for storing all your stuff. Behind here, where I've left this block out, is where you would find the ice part of the design. I switched it for stone blocks, so I didn't have, because it kept melting. Because I'm in grasslands, the ice wouldn't stay ice. So here we have your fluid farm. So we've got tar, water, bog water, molasses, mineral water, and corrupted water. And the corrupted water is why I'm getting the red bars down here, because the recipe, the blueprint's asking for grass blocks, and the crop to water is immediately, well, not immediately, but it converts it back to corrupted grass. Now you might be bothered by that, want to switch that out to complete your blueprint, and so you dig down and you swap it out, which I did once, because it did bother me, until I realised that this blueprint isn't actually finishable, and I'll explain that in a moment. So yeah, this is what I mean about building the underground first, because you put your fluids here, 3 blocks of fluids, it drains straight down for you, and that's what makes this what they call it, infinite supply of fluids, of liquids, because you just suck this block up and the source block is still pouring it down. It'll just refill, and you won't ever have to worry about it running out. So that's really good. And you'll see here the hardened lava, that's not a design, it's just to keep, well, I'm assuming, but I think I'm right, that's just there to keep the water from freezing, which isn't relevant to me. But if you want to make this build in a cold climate, you'll know it's already set for you. You won't have to fiddle with it to make it cold climate happy. So this is great use of this glass into the workshop. Just that'd be a bit claustrophobic otherwise. That opens it up very nicely. Plenty of processors, forges, cooking stations. It's all there. And I really like this. This is what helps keep the footprint small, is the double-decker farm area. So you've got all your seed space, but in 2 layers. Now, this is why the blueprint, though, isn't completable, and this isn't a fault of the designer. This is something with the game itself. Whether developers see fit to change it or not, I don't know. But because we've got a garden here with the seeds in the blueprint registered these blocks as dirt. But to put seeds on it, you've got to fertilize it with your farming tool. But as soon as you fertilize it with your farming tool, even though that's not coming up as red, like wrong block, it doesn't count in the blueprint count. You know, over there when you check the block and it says you've completed 300 of your 600 dirt or whatever, you put down the dirt and that will add it and go, oh, now you've got 310 dirt. You fertilize 10 of that dirt, it drops back down to 300. It doesn't count in the block. So to add the seeds to finish the blueprint, you've got to fertilize the soil. But fertilizing the soil takes the dirt away from finishing the blueprint. So you've either got to give up the dirt or the seeds to finish it, and therefore it's not finishable. That's, again, not the designer's fault, it's just a little creative error. This hardened lava here is obviously to keep the water from turning into ice. You could take that out, but mind you, that would mean then that you'd have water flowing from the top down to the bottom, because it's also keeping the water in that top layer. A little tip relevant for any garden you do, water will fertilize the dirt, or make it fertilizable under the block just as well as beside the block. So rather than having this 8 dirt 1 water situation, you could have 9 dirt and just a solid garden look if you put the water underneath. Obviously you need another layer of space to do that, but that can give you a full garden. It's all down to aesthetics and what you prefer, maximizing your space. So there we go. Here it is: seed farm, fluid farm, you've got a workshop, you've got a wax farm upstairs, place for your mob, healing station, beds. It's all here. It's perfect as a home base of operations for going out and being creative with Creativerse. So I hardly recommend this build. A few little holdovers from design, nothing major, and certainly nothing that's going to bother you, and very accessible when it comes to materials and build time. So thanks for watching this blueprint review. Keep an eye out for more, and I'll see you then.